All right, welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John. It's time for another Motorweek Retro Review reaction. This week I have chosen the 1994 Compact Car Comparison Test. So the reason I did this is because they've got multiple cars. It's been a while since I've done one of their roundups, one of their comparison tests, and I'm really interested in this one. If you've been a fan, you know that I kind of think of the 90s as a little bit of a peak in some ways of automobile-dom. Some of it was bad, some of it was great, and I'm just interested in this, and I think some of the brands that are going to be on here, so I'm looking forward to seeing it and having that little trip down memory lane. The other thing is that I do want to say thank you, all of you who watch these and leave comments, and you make recommendations about other ones I should do. I appreciate that. I do have a list on my computer that I keep. I only do one of these a week, and my list is growing faster than I'm getting through it, so please leave your suggestions. If I haven't gotten to it, it's on the list, and I'll try to in the future. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the 1994 compact cars. Grab your beverage of choice, sit down in your comfy chair, and let's take that little trip down memory lane.
Motorweek, television's automotive magazine. Your host for Motorweek, John Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to Motorweek. We're glad to have you with us. To some people, the term family car only means midsize or larger sedans. But with today's car prices, many buyers are opting for smaller sedans to fill their family needs. We get a lot of requests to feature these miniature movers here on Motorweek. So many, in fact, that if we fulfilled them all, we'd never have time for anything else. So we decided to pull together the best examples of the small sedan class to help find the ones that are right for you.
Before they jump in, I'm going to say I am super excited about this. I mean, we've got a Neon, a Corolla, a Saturn, a Civic, and what looks like a Jetta. I like all of these cars, honestly, for different reasons, dramatically different reasons, but how exciting. I mean, these are all cars I've driven. These are all cars I have spent time with, one of which I have owned. And dang, this was a great period in automobile history, in my opinion.
That's easier said than done, however. Today's small cars are the best ever. These 5 front drivers are leaders in their class. At the head of our small car parade is the Dodge and Plymouth Neon. Only available since January, the Neon is already a hit, even picking up our Driver's Choice Award. A top reason is the price, starting at only $8,975, and with typical options less than $12,000.
So I want to jump in here. I'm going to try to catch this and do kind of a style thought, exterior, interior, while they do their road test as well. I forgot to mention at the beginning, rank these in your head. I'm going to do it at the end, tell you where I would place these from the perspective of you and I are magically transported back to 1994, and we've got, I don't know, a job, money, and we could buy one of these. Where would you rank these? Okay. Now, what's interesting is 1995, 1996, 1995, actually, my first wife and I, we were in that position. We had this field to choose from, and we ended up with the Neon. Now, primarily that was price. I was fresh out of college. She was first jobs, not a lot of money, but the Neon was so much fun, and I still like the styling of this first generation. The second generation went wacky, right? But it was cute. It was full of personality. The interior was cheap, but at least it was ergonomically, good. It was a fun car. If you watched the channel before, you know that it made to about 70,000 miles before it blew a head gasket. But this was a fun car, and I still like the styling. I think an updated version of this would still sell today because it just makes you smile. This one's a little bare bones.
Another reason are the stylish lines built to Chrysler's cab-forward design concept. The interior is straightforward and friendly with standard features we like, including dual airbags, a cup holder, an expandable sun visor, and idiot-proof ventilation controls. The clever packaging offers buyers more head and leg room than some midsize cars. All but this base car have a folding rear seat, while the trunk offers a fine 11.8 cubic feet of space.
Wow, they are running through this one. So, interior-wise, full of cheap plastic, but the ergonomics were fantastic. Big buttons. The cup holders were useful. Of course, we had the 3-speed automatic, and it was fine. The whole car was noisy, but it felt good to drive. It really was tossable. It was that I talk about so much, light and airy. It was a great car for the price with great horsepower. The trunk, that 11 point something cubic feet sounds small, but you know what? That swallowed, because of the shape, a lot of luggage. And it had space in the back seat too. I'm a fan of this car. I don't trust it and its reliability, basically anything from Chrysler in the mid-90s, unfortunately, but I do unfortunately also think that it was their peak of design with the neon, the cloud cars, the LH cars, and everything else. This is a really fun car. Not the most reliable, possibly the best value. Man, that was a lot. I'd like to drive one again, honestly, just to refresh my memory.
The base Neon's 2-liter single overhead cam 4-cylinder engine also outpowers all competitors with 132 horses. An even stronger dual cam version will arrive in the fall. But until then, our test car's 8.7 second 0 to 60 time is more than adequate. We found the Neon's 5-speed manual very accurate, but the automatic has only 3 speeds with no overdrive. The 4-wheel fully independent suspension gives Neon a delightfully tossable nature. Brand new brakes, however, gave us a longish average stopping distance of 136 feet from 60. Anti-lock is available.
Let me jump in. So the engine is agricultural. It was new. It was powerful. You know, even the base version was kind of fun, honestly, but it was not Honda refined. Nobody can claim that. Yeah, I'll agree with the tossability of it. The braking, you know, I never back then drove my Neon at 60 miles an hour and then slammed on the brakes and measured it, but that sounds a little long. They did say it was new brakes. That sounds a little long, but basically the one we had never felt unsafe, and we were always able to stop, and we were always able to stop in a controlled manner. No drama, lockups, you know, anything like that. So, okay, it's okay.
EPA fuel mileage ratings are 29 city and 38 highway, and we average 33 miles per gallon. And predict a long and successful career for America's newest small car. But then the Neon is not America's first small car success of the 90s. That title goes to General Motors' Saturn. With its plastic body panels and innovative approaches to manufacturing and marketing, Saturn quickly carved out a solid market for itself. As with the Neon, pricing is a big part of this success. The Saturn sedan line starts at $9,995, and with air conditioning and other obvious options, still costs less than $12,000.
So, if you have not been to this channel before, thank you for being here, but I must be fully transparent. I am a huge Saturn fan. I am fully steeped in Saturn mythology. As a matter of fact, if you have not been here before, you can't see it anymore. This is a Saturn Cup. Somewhere around 95, 96, 97, something like that. I worked with Saturn. I sold Saturns. I've been to Spring Hill. I have been through indoctrination. I have toured the factory. I've talked to the engineers, and I love Saturn. Period. I love Saturn. Exterior styling, I like it. The front headlights, I don't love it exactly. I like it. It's distinctive. It's a little more expressive than some of the other small cars. I love the greenhouse around it. I love the plastic panels. I just love this car. Let's see what they say about it.
Inside, the dash design is angular yet efficient and includes a set of effective analog gauges. as well as controls like this thumb wheel for the fan speed that are brilliant in their simplicity. But thus far, only a driver's side airbag. The front passenger gets one this fall. Long-legged folks will want to sit up front. The Saturn otherwise offers good room for 4 adults. A 60/40 folding rear seat is standard on all models, as is 11.9 cubic feet of trunk space. Engine size is 1.
So before we move on, that dash didn't last too terribly long. They updated it later, made it a little more rounded, and improved the ergonomics of it. That thumb wheel, I've always loved it. I don't understand why more people don't do it. I really, really loved it. The first dash was okay. It wasn't terribly stylish. It was a lot of little pieces that seemed to give the possibility of creaking in the future. When they simplified it with the next generation dash, it was a more holistic approach. The first generation, I think, is still appealing. I think it's better looking than, say, the Neons, but it wasn't fantastic. Space was always fine. The rear seat, I never thought of it as tight. It was a small car, and from that perspective, it was always fine. And the trunk, basically, I think it's bigger than a Neon's.
9 liters from 4 cylinders and the base single cam engine. Horsepower is 85. If you want more, a dual cam version with 124 horses is available. We recommend the dual cam engine, which ran to 60 in only 8.5 seconds. Strong bottom end power made up for a slightly notchy manual shifter. The automatic is a 4-speed. Steering feel is a bit uneven, but overall handling is sharp. All disc anti-lock brakes are available, but our car's standard disc drum stopped it in an average distance of 124 feet with excellent feel. The EPA predicts fuel mileage to be 25 city and 34 highway. We averaged an excellent 36 miles per gallon. And an excellent value is how we describe GM's new age compact.
You know, I would say, because I had the Neon with an automatic, it's hard to do a one-to-one comparison. The Neon had far more horsepower than the base engine in this, but with a 3-speed automatic, this felt, I want to say, more alive. Okay, more everyday, not more on and off power. The 124 on this felt, generally speaking, felt from the seat, from everyday driving, better than the Neon. The Neon offered more value if all you were looking for was horsepower. But the Saturn, the overall experience was much more upscale. But because Saturn had that one price philosophy, and you could get a deal, even new, you could get a deal on a Neon, the price was like this. So Saturn's not badly priced, but you could always get a deal on something else.
Now, if your taste run to something more international, Volkswagen's Jetta 3 might be right for you. Offering the conservative but handsome look of all German cars, the Jetta is Volkswagen's top-selling U.S. model. That's despite a base price of $13,750. Add a few options and it quickly rises to over $15,000.
So before they go on, let me be, again, totally transparent here. In 1995, I graduated spring of 95. I graduated from college, got my first job, felt like I was making a fortune, but we still never seemed to have any money. And I was a huge VW fan. I had a VW Fox at the time, and I was really into VWs. And I love this generation Jetta. I mean, so far, 3 cars, I love all of them. That'll tell you something here. So I love this generation Jetta, and I seriously wrestled internally with leasing one of these in 95 when we needed a car because I loved it that much, especially the trunk. I never did. The money never made sense to me. Let's see what they say as we move forward.
But for that price, the buyer gets a better than small car interior design, except for the passenger airbag that displaces the glove box. But thoughtful features like height-adjustable front seat belts, twin vanity mirrors, and optional one-touch down power windows all around are welcome. And the interior is easily up to the task of carrying 4 adults, but has the class's most complex seat folding procedures. Yet passengers could even ride in the huge 15 cubic foot trunk. A compliant, very quiet ride is also typically German. The Jetta 3 isn't the most powerful car in its class, but its 2-liter 4-cylinder engine still puts out a smooth 115 horsepower. But at 2,647 pounds, it's also the slowest to 60, with a best run of 10.1 seconds. The light, accurate 5-speed shifter showed the benefits of German design precision. The automatic is a 4-speed. Our test Jetta was a bit looser than the last one we drove, but retained its quick turn-in and minimal front plow, while its optional anti-lock brake stopped it in a short, straight 115-foot average. Fuel mileage is EPA rated to be 23 city and 31 highway. Our above average was 35 miles per gallon. Teutonic refinement and efficiency in a compact car. That's the Volkswagen Jetta 3.
That's really a fantastic, here's the deal. I think I like German cars. I really do. I don't always trust their reliability in big, broad strokes. But if you've ever driven a car at 3-figure speeds, and then you've driven a German car, the German car just feels planted, right? And that means that with this, when you're looking at something from the point of the price of it, and you're comparing numbers, you're comparing the size of the brakes, the horsepower of the engine, the 0 to 60, you're missing something about the goodness of the car. This Jetta was good. It had great space. It had excellent sight lines. The dash was fantastic. The shifter was great. I like the automatic too. The trunk, consider that. It's 15-ish cubic feet. That's fully 25%, almost 30% larger than the competitors they've talked about so far. I loved this generation Jetta. I really, really did. I loved the dash and everything about it, and I respect this engine very much. But no matter how you sliced it, when it came down to putting your money into something, this was expensive. And that's why I never ended up with one. And I deeply, deeply regret the Saturn, and I regret this one too.
Japanese cars such as the Toyota Corolla are also well known for their refinement. And like the Volkswagen, the Corolla lives at the upper end of the compact cost scale. Prices start at $12,098 and can quickly jump to $15,000. But that hasn't deterred many thousands of loyal Toyota customers. They value performance, reliability, and a no-nonsense interior design with foolproof controls, cup holder, as well as the safety of standard dual airbags and height-adjustable seatbelts. There's enough room inside to seat 4 adults, though we could use a bit more rear headroom. But the 12.7 cubic foot trunk will swallow all of their luggage. The Corolla's power comes from either a 105 horsepower 1.6-liter 4 in the base cars or a larger 1.8-liter unit as found in our DX test car. It makes 115 horses. And coupled with a positive 5-speed manual gearbox, sprinted to 60 in 9 seconds flat. The 4-speed automatic is one of the smoothest around. But it's in handling where the Corolla really shines, with grip and refined feel that rival that of sportier models. Braking followed the class standard, however. Front disc and rear drum stopped the car from 60 in an average distance of 130 feet. While fuel mileage, which is EPA rated at 27 city and 34 highway, averaged a better 38 miles per gallon. And average is hardly how we'd describe the Toyota Corolla.
Wow. Does that not define what Toyota means? To me, anyway. First off, this is the most boring car they've shown so far. There's no personality here. It's just a little boring sedan. It is, however, I believe, one of the best cars, right up there with the mid-90s Toyota Camry, the best cars ever built. The engines kind of split the difference, right, in terms of horsepower, and they're okay, but they're ultimately reliable. The dash is okay. The space is okay. It's interesting that the trunk is bigger than the Neon and the Saturn, but not as much as the Jetta. It's just a good all-arounder. The braking distance, not great. Could be new brakes, so I won't be too harsh on it, but no performance here. Just a solid car, but it is at the upper end of the price range. You know, taking predicted reliability out of it, the Saturn and the Neon offer a little more value here relative to this. Let's see what they say about the, hopefully, Honda.
While it may be one of the oldest designs in our test, the Honda Civic sedan is also one of the most popular. You can get in one for $11,750, though dealer-installed air conditioning can add up to $1,000 more. The interior is pure Honda, clean and uncluttered, though the cup holder is one of the most complicated ones that we've ever seen. Standard features include dual airbags and height-adjustable seatbelt anchors, as well as an excellent layout of dash controls. Despite its subcompact status, there's plenty of interior room, whether you're seating 4 adults or folding the one-piece rear seat back down for access to the generous 12.4 cubic foot trunk. The Civic moves its cargo with a free-revving 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine. Base models make 102 horsepower, while our top EX-grade test car makes 125. Its 5-speed manual is one of the most positive shifters in the class and allowed it to sprint to 60 in only 9.1 seconds. A 4-speed automatic is available. The well-balanced double wishbone suspension made it very nimble in corners. Anti-lock brakes are available on EX-grade cars only and stopped our test car in a good average distance of 120 feet from 60. The EPA predicts that each gallon of fuel will last 29 miles in the city and 35 on the highway. We average 30 miles per gallon. So the Civic is a superb little car that deserves its excellent reputation. And there you have it, 5 of the best examples of the small family sedan class. From the sophisticated Volkswagen Jetta 3 to the ever-popular Honda Civic to the highly refined Toyota Corolla to the trend-setting Saturn to the roomy value-priced Dodge and Plymouth Neon. No better small sedans have ever been available to the family car buyer, and one of them is surely right for you.
So if I won the lottery, I would probably have one of each of these. That Honda. That let's finish up with that. Very interesting. The engine's great. They got the upgraded engine, and that really hurt the fuel economy. Really surprisingly, the Honda only got 30 in their mixed driving. That Corolla got 38. That's a huge difference. The Saturn got 36. The Honda ended up being the least efficient, I think, of all of these. Performance was fine. Braking was fine. Everything was okay. This is one of my favorite Civics, primarily because it is the generation of Hondas that I started to really be like, hey, there's something here. Before this, I was really all about American cars. I finally had gotten my Volkswagen, and it was perfectly reliable. It was wonderful. I appreciated what German engineering meant. And then I started to drive some of these, and I came around to them. While they were incredibly boring, after you drive enough of them or enough miles, enough time, you realize this is wonderful. You know, it's smooth, it's refined, and the ergonomics make sense. And look, the plastic is pretty good too. So I love this generation of Civic. But that leaves me with, what would I choose? If I could go back to 1994, let's say 1995, and I had the money, I had a job, and I needed to buy a small car again. And I'm going to pretend here that it's not real life where I have to buy based on money. I have a little bit more free cash. That's kind of tough, because do I base it on what I know the reliability is going to be? I would have to say the Saturn's my number one. I believe in Saturn. I believe in their quality. I believe in their business practices, and I would want to support them, and I've loved every Saturn I've ever driven. I would say that number 2 would probably be the Honda. The smoothness, the efficiency, the decades-long service you can get out of one of these cars. I absolutely love it. I think number 3 would be the Jetta. I loved that car. I'm struggling with putting that at number 2. Not the most powerful, most expensive, but really a fantastic, it's a car, but small. Where some of these are a small car. You know what I mean? Number 4. Ooh, that comes down between that Corolla and the Neon. I'm going to put it as a tie. I'm going to cheat, guys. I admit I'm going to completely cheat here. I'm going to put it as a tie, and here's why. The Corolla is a great car. It's one of the most reliable cars ever. It's one of the best-selling cars ever. It is great. It would last for literally decades of service. I know it. And I would hate driving it every single day of my life. If I was just going out and getting into it and it was an appliance, it was a Kenmore getting me to my job, yes, the Corolla is the right answer. But that Neon, it was a better value. It was better equipped, more horsepower, more fun to drive. You got more value out of your money if you enjoyed driving at all from the Neon. The Corolla is a great car. It really is. And a different day, I could do this video and put the Corolla number 1 because it's that good. But today, I'd put it last simply because I enjoy driving the Neon. Now, if you said, what is the reliability and the company is going to be in business? Oh, things change for everything. I'd put the Honda number 1, the Corolla number 2, the Volkswagen number 3, the Saturn number 4, and I put the Neon number 5 because the Neon, well, after about 50, 60, 70,000 miles was a piece of junk. And I love Saturn, and I believe in their reliability, but the company doesn't exist anymore. But honestly, I'd put the Saturn first. I love it that much. I truly do, guys. So let me know what you think below. Rank these cars below. If you had one of them, let me know your experience. But I appreciate you being here and spending a few minutes with me. Have that trip down memory lane.